They didn't see the way her hand froze on the porch rail, or how her eyes tracked every step with calm precision. They didn't know the land had already chosen a side, and they had no idea the woman watching from the cabin had once been trained to turn chaos into silence. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. She lived alone now, high above the valley, where clouds brushed pine needles and the wind carried memories instead of voices. To the locals, she was just the quiet woman behind the fence. To the mountain, she was a constant. But inside her, the past never stayed buried. Years earlier, she had been a SEAL, sniper, precise, disciplined, relentless. She'd left that life after one decision she still replayed at night, wondering if she'd chosen mercy when duty demanded more. She came here to disappear. The mountain let her. The men below her laughed again, louder this time. 4 of them, outsiders. Their eyes lingered on the cabin, on the fence marked with faded warnings. One kicked a loose board aside like it was a joke. She felt something tighten in her chest, not fear, but responsibility. She didn't want violence. She never did anymore. But she also knew what happened when boundaries were treated like dares. The air shifted. Wind slid downhill, carrying their voices to her porch. She smelled dust, sweat, cheap metal. Her fingers trembled once, then steadied. She told herself she could call for help. She told herself she should. But the mountain had no signal, and she had no time. And somewhere deep inside, the part of her that had never stopped calculating woke up. She moved without sound, boots finding old paths she'd memorized over years of walking grief into the soil. She didn't chase them. She guided them. A snapped twig here, a glimpse of movement there. Curiosity did the rest. The mountain narrowed as they climbed, trails thinning, slopes steepening. Their laughter softened into mutters, then into silence. One of them slipped. A harmless fall, but enough to raise tension. They argued now, voices sharp, fear creeping in like cold through wet clothes. She watched from above, heart heavy. She didn't want this. She wanted them to turn back, but pride is louder than warning signs. The first trap wasn't violent, just a rock slide she'd learned to trigger safely years ago, blocking the path behind them. Panic followed. Breathing sped up. Someone shouted her name, though they didn't know it yet. That was when they realized the mountain wasn't empty. She stepped into view at last, rifle lowered, voice steady. She told them to sit, to breathe, to listen. Her hands shook now not from adrenaline, but from the weight of choice. She could end this fast. The old training whispered efficiency. Another voice, quieter but stronger, reminded her why she left. They obeyed, one by one. The mountain held them still. Hours later, rescuers climbed through thinning fog. The men were shaken, humbled, alive. Word spread fast in the valley. Whispers turned into stunned silence when people realized who she had been and who she chose to be now. No applause came, just nods. Respect earned the hard way. That night, she sat on her porch again. Same fence, same stars, but something had shifted. She hadn't turned the mountain into a grave. She'd turned it into a lesson. Because strength isn't proven by how hard you strike. It's proven by how much harm you choose not to do. And the fence they crossed laughing still stood, not as a threat, but as a promise kept. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more stories like this. And remember, Some boundaries are written in wood, and some are written in courage.